Why is it necessary to rightly divide the word of truth? This verse tells us, it's the one verse in the Bible that tells us to study, and it also tells us how to study, and that is by rightly dividing the word of truth. And to get started, I want to read a story. As we ponder about this story, we're going to see, potentially, complications that will arise if we fail to rightly divide the word of truth. Her story is, a few years ago, she and her husband were attending a Bible-believing church in Queens. One day her husband came home from the doctor's office with some bad news. The doctor told him he had cancer. They went to their church and told the pastor and asked everyone to pray for her husband's recovery. The pastor prayed and the elders prayed. All the time they were praying, her husband was slowly becoming weaker as the cancer continued to spread. But her pastor continued to encourage them. Just have faith in God. God will heal. God promises. You will ask what you desire and it shall be done for you. Believe it. Trust God and He will heal. As her husband continued to suffer and the sickness grew worse, she followed the teaching in the letter of James and called for the elders to come and pray. Her pastor continued to encourage her. You see, the Bible says that the prayer of faith will save the sick and the Lord will raise him up. Believe it. And God will heal. Eventually, her husband died. And the pastor had to try to explain this failure and told her that it must be that she did not have enough faith. Or maybe there was some secret sin in her life. Or maybe her husband wasn't really a Christian. She came to the conclusion that the Bible must not be true, that there really was no God, and that all that she once believed was not true. At least it didn't work when she needed it. When it failed, the pastor tried to throw the blame back on her. She came to the conclusion that the scriptures weren't true.